The wisdom passed down from the ancients is often nothing more than fragments, small, powerful bits of insight. These are not just any sayings, but timeless mantras from the likes of emperors, slaves, and power brokers. These epigrams, as they were once called, carry the weight of thousands of years of human experience, surviving because they resonate deeply and continue to guide us today. Let's talk about a few Stoic principles that can serve as personal mantras in our own lives. These are not just catchy phrases, they are life-tested ideas that have endured for centuries, not because they sound good, but because they work. Take, for example, a paradoxical phrase that's as relevant now as it was in ancient Rome. Make haste slowly. This was one of the favorite expressions of Emperor Augustus, formerly known as Octavian, who ruled Rome with remarkable discipline and caution. His rise to power wasn't rapid or chaotic. He was methodical, deliberate, and calculated, carefully avoiding being seen as a revolutionary or disruptor. His Stoic mentors, like Athenodorus and Aristodemus, taught him to count all the letters of the alphabet before losing his temper. Why? Because impulsive actions often lead to mistakes, and mistakes often set us back. Make haste slowly is about being deliberate, not rushing through life, and taking the time necessary to do things right. In the military, there's a saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's the same idea. The rush to finish quickly often leads to mistakes, and those mistakes take more time to correct. It's about controlled, thoughtful action. Think about someone like General George Thomas, a Civil War hero known for his steady, relentless determination. He wasn't the fastest or the most aggressive, but when he set his sights on a goal, nothing would deter him. He wasn't in a rush, he was measured and resolute. This is the essence of the Stoic approach, combining urgency with discipline, exertion with moderation. Another key principle that Stoics like Marcus Aurelius lived by is the balance of mind and body. We tend to think of philosophers today as academic thinkers, sitting behind desks or scribbling in journals. But the Stoics were also warriors. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor and a general. Seneca was a man who pushed himself physically, seeing how little he could survive on, even engaging in cold water plunges. Socrates, too, was known for his physical endurance. He wasn't just a thinker, he was also a soldier and an athlete. The Stoics believed that no citizen had the right to neglect their body, that to live a fully examined life, you had to understand and respect the limits and potential of your physical self. Consider Theodore Roosevelt. As a young boy, he was frail and suffered from asthma, but his father told him, "You've got the mind, but you don't have the body." At 12 years old, Roosevelt made a vow to himself, "I will make my body." From that moment on, he dedicated himself to what he called the strenuous life. Roosevelt is a perfect example of the Stoic ideal that strength of mind requires strength of body. Seneca put it simply, we treat the body rigorously so it doesn't become disobedient to the mind. It's a lesson that extends beyond physical fitness. It's about discipline and consistency in every area of life. The Stoics understood something fundamental about growth. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Struggle, discomfort, and challenge are opportunities for growth, not to be avoided but embraced. Today, we might hear this as a motivational soundbite, but for the Stoics, it was a deep and abiding truth. From hardship, we emerge more resilient, wiser, and stronger. So as you face challenges, whether physical, mental, or emotional, remember these Stoic principles. Don't rush, be deliberate, build both mind and body, and embrace struggle as a teacher. These timeless lessons have endured because they offer real, practical guidance for living with discipline and purpose. In life, we often spend much of our time trying to avoid hardship, adversity, and struggle. It's human nature, after all, who wants to experience pain. But while we tend to focus on the discomfort of challenges, there's a deeper truth many miss. Adversity often leads to growth. This concept is known as post-traumatic growth, something that psychologists and social scientists have observed over and over again. We can, and often do, emerge stronger from the struggles we face. The Stoic philosopher Seneca often discussed how he admired those who had been tested by hardship. He believed that people who hadn't experienced adversity were unaware of their true potential. They didn't know what they were capable of. If you look back on your life, you can probably recall times of struggle, perhaps even the past few years. If someone had told you at the start of those challenging times that you'd make it through, would you have believed them? Yet, here you are, stronger and wiser for having navigated those obstacles. Through struggle, we gain a deeper understanding of how we respond to difficulty. We learn about our own resilience and capacity to overcome. It's not necessary to seek out adversity deliberately, though facing challenges in life, whether in work, relationships, or physical challenges, can help us grow. The key is that when adversity finds us, we must embrace it. We can choose to let these struggles define us, or we can choose to be made better by them. The Stoics didn't merely accept hardship, they saw it as an opportunity. They believed in the concept of amor fati, the love of one's fate. It's not just about resigning yourself to what comes your way, it's about embracing it fully, seeing it as something uniquely suited for your growth in this moment. You have a choice to see adversity not as a burden, but as something that can refine you. Just like a fire that transforms everything thrown into it into flame and light, we too can emerge from our struggles stronger and more enlightened. The Stoics believe that. We are shaped by what we endure. The hardships we face can become the fuel that propels us forward, much like a crucible that turns raw material into something more refined. When you face adversity, you have the chance to turn it into opportunity, to transform it into something greater. And while it's important to embrace life's struggles, we should also be wise about how we prepare for the unexpected. Seneca and Marcus Aurelius both warned against the dangers of being caught off guard. While many people focus on positive visualization, the Stoics believed in negative visualization, thinking about what could go wrong so that we're prepared when it does. This doesn't mean expecting failure, but rather being ready for challenges and accepting that hardship is a natural part of life. It's not about fearing bad things, but about strengthening ourselves so we aren't surprised when things don't go according to plan. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, fearing potential problems doesn't make them more likely to occur, just as fearing that a storm will come doesn't make the rain fall. It's simply about being mentally prepared, having a plan B, and building the resilience necessary to face what comes. By considering the worst-case scenarios, we empower ourselves to act with confidence, knowing that we are ready for whatever the future holds. So the next time you face a challenge, don't shy away from it. Instead, embrace it as a chance to grow and to prove to yourself just how much you're capable of handling. You might find that you're stronger than you ever imagined. In life, things don't always go the way we expect, but in reality, that's part of the beauty of it. The unexpected happens constantly, and part of being wise is preparing ourselves mentally and emotionally for the things that are beyond our control. Wisdom doesn't mean predicting every event, but it does mean understanding that life is full of surprises, some pleasant, others not so much. We learn that by being aware of the possibilities and managing our expectations, we put ourselves in a position to respond to whatever comes our way. One of the timeless principles of Stoicism is the idea that who we are shapes the life we lead. It's not about whether bad people can succeed. It's about the fact that their success will always be tainted by their character. Success built on poor values and ego won't bring fulfillment. It will only bring turmoil for the individual and anyone associated with them. The Stoics urge us to focus on what we can control, our character, our values, our actions. When you meet someone with bad character, you don't need to be surprised by the negative outcomes that follow. They've already shown you who they are by their behavior. It's like Seneca said, a leader can't claim ignorance when things go wrong. A true leader knows the character of those they bring into their life and work. If they ignore it, it's a choice that will lead to failure. People with insecurity, dishonesty, and ego-driven behavior will inevitably cause problems, not just for themselves, but for others too. It's best to recognize that early on, so you don't waste your energy trying to change something that's already been revealed. There's a famous story about Musonius Rufus and a man obsessed with money. Musonius, seeing the man's true nature, gave him exactly what he deserved, money. He knew it wouldn't change him. It would only expose the man's flaws faster. Sometimes, the worst thing we can do for someone with poor values is to offer them success too soon. It only accelerates their downfall. Look at Marcus Aurelius. As a ruler, he had absolute power, yet he wasn't corrupted by it. Why? Because of the character he had worked tirelessly to develop. His mentors and philosophical teachings guided him toward being a good person, not a perfect one. He wasn't immune to flaws, but his character, shaped by wisdom, led him to a meaningful life. His fate wasn't shaped by power, but by the choices he made rooted in his values. One of the most powerful concepts from Stoic philosophy is memento mori, the reminder that we are mortal. It might sound morbid, but it's essential. It's what gives our lives urgency and clarity. We often procrastinate or waste time thinking we have all the time in the world, but we don't. Every moment spent is one we'll never get back. Time once passed is gone forever. If we keep that in mind, we're more likely to use our time wisely, to live with intention, to focus on what truly matters. Life is fleeting, and living with this awareness brings purpose to every action we take. So, as you move through your day, remember that time is your most precious resource. The life you're living now is the only one you have, and every moment counts. Take control of your character, make choices based on your values, and don't waste the time you've been given. Live with purpose, and don't forget, memento mori.